She thought you'd chase. She expected you to fold. But you did something else, something powerful. You did nothing, and that changed everything. This isn't about pickup lines. This is about presence over performance, power over reaction, self-respect over validation. At Stoic Reflections, we don't teach men how to impress women. We teach men how to become unforgettable by becoming grounded, respected, and centered in truth. These are the 10 truths that make a woman never forget you, not through noise, but through quiet power. Truth number 1, be hard to access. She doesn't value what's always in reach. She values what makes her wonder, what she can't fully hold, what pulls her in without trying. Most men flood her with energy, texts, validation, presence. But presence without mystery becomes background noise. It's not impressive, it's forgettable. When you're always there, you teach her that your time, your mind, and your attention are cheap. But the man who holds back, not out of manipulation but out of centeredness, triggers something deeper in her: curiosity, longing, and respect. You don't need to disappear. You just need to stop offering yourself so easily. Don't rush to reply. Don't explain your every move. Don't turn every pause into panic. Let her feel the quiet. Let her experience the space. Because in that silence, she starts to reflect. And if she values you, she'll reach. The men she forgets are the ones who gave everything. The ones she can't forget are the ones who knew their worth, even in silence. You don't become unforgettable by doing more. You become unforgettable by being less available and more grounded. Truth 2. Let her feel the shift. A woman always notices the shift. When your energy changes, when your attention cools, when your presence fades. But here's what separates powerful men from emotional ones. The weak man reacts. The grounded man lets her feel it. She pulls back. He doesn't chase. She gets cold. He doesn't confront. He simply matches her energy with calm detachment. Why? Because real power doesn't argue. It responds with stillness. When a woman senses that her pullback doesn't shake you, it creates impact. She starts to ask herself, did I go too far? Why isn't he reacting? Has he started to let go? And that's when reflection begins. Most men try to talk their way back into closeness. They over-explain. They force connection. But nothing is more unattractive than emotional neediness masked as communication. Let the space do the talking. Let your restraint create tension. Let her feel the difference between a man who needs her and one who can live without her. The moment you stop rewarding emotional distance with pursuit, you shift the dynamic. You stop performing. You stop begging. You start leading. And in that silence, she will either step up or fade away. Either way, you win. Because your self-respect stayed intact. Truth number 3. Speak with action, not emotion. Women are not moved by what you say. They're moved by what you do and what you don't do. Most men explain too much. They beg to be understood. They try to reason their way into respect. But emotion-driven words don't create desire. They create pressure, and pressure always breaks attraction. You don't need long conversations to prove your point. You don't need to argue about what she did wrong or how she made you feel. That's emotional labor, and it makes you look weak. Instead, you make her feel the difference. She cancels plans, you stop offering them. She pulls away. You don't chase. You pull your energy back and redirect it to yourself. You don't punish. You don't explain. You move differently. Because the moment you start pleading with a woman to see your value, you're saying you've lost it. Masculine power is calm, subtle, and precise. You say more by saying less. Your boundary isn't a speech, it's an action. Your standard isn't a threat, it's a silent withdrawal. Your respect isn't up for discussion, it's something you walk in, not talk about. A man who leads with emotion gets tuned out. A man who moves with clarity commands attention. So speak less, move sharper. Let your silence sting. And when you do speak, make it count. Truth number 4. Be calm when she's emotional. A woman's emotions will test you. Not because she's cruel, but because she's chaotic, and chaos always searches for a center. Most men fail here. They mirror her mood. She gets loud, they get louder. She gets distant, they panic. They start explaining, fixing, pleading, and in doing so, they lose her respect. Masculine energy isn't about control, it's about containment. It's the ability to remain unchanged in the face of her storm. When she's angry, don't match it, stay composed. When she's cold, don't overcompensate, stay warm but steady. When she tests your patience, breathe deeper, speak less. This doesn't mean you tolerate disrespect. It means you correct it without ever raising your voice. Because when you remain grounded in the middle of her emotional waves, she begins to trust you. Not just emotionally, but biologically. She senses that you can hold space for her instability without losing yourself. Women don't remember men who explode, break down, or chase their approval. They remember the rare man who didn't flinch, who let her feel what she felt without losing presence, power, or peace. That's the man she comes back to. That's the man she can't forget. Not because he made her feel better, but because he made her feel safe. Truth number 5. Know when to pull away. Every man must learn this. There's a moment in every dynamic when you need to step back. Not with anger, not with games, but with quiet clarity. You gave effort. You showed interest. But the energy changed. She became cold, distant, indifferent. Now you're confused, tempted to try harder. Don't. This is where most men lose themselves. They double down. They over-pursue. They explain, apologize, beg for connection. And that's exactly what kills the last bit of attraction. Here's the truth. Sometimes the strongest move is to walk away first, to pull your energy, your attention, your presence before she completely withdraws hers. Not to punish her, but to protect your self-respect. Because a woman only sees your value when she feels the weight of your absence, not when you demand it with words, but when you remove it with action. When she starts to wonder why your energy shifted, you win. When she questions what happened to your presence, you gain ground. But if you cling to what's fading, you lose both her and yourself. You don't have to slam the door. Just stop opening it so often. Let her feel the contrast. Let her reflect. The right woman will feel the loss and move differently. The wrong one won't even notice. And that's your answer. Not every connection is meant to last, but your dignity is. Truth number 6. Don't try to convince her. One of the most unattractive things a man can do is try to convince a woman to choose him. Trying to prove your worth, explaining your value, selling your intentions. It all screams insecurity. Women are intuitive. They feel when a man is grounded and when he's not. The moment you try to talk her into seeing you differently, you've already lost your frame. Why? Because power doesn't beg. Respect isn't negotiated. Attraction isn't argued into existence. You don't need to explain why you're a good man. You live like one and let her figure it out. If she can't see it, let her go. Because the woman who truly sees you won't need convincing. She'll be drawn. Don't write long messages defending yourself. Don't over-text to regain her interest. Don't lower your value by chasing someone who's undecided. Walk like you know your worth. Speak like your time is valuable. Act like your presence is earned, not given to just anyone. And if she pulls away, so be it. Let her feel the cost of losing a man who doesn't chase, but chooses. The man who wins long-term is not the one who convinces her. It's the one who lets her feel his absence and realize what she had. Your energy is expensive. Don't spend it explaining, spend it evolving. Truth number 7. Stay a mystery. The more she knows, the less she wonders. And the less she wonders, the quicker she forgets. Most men think connection comes from constant sharing, oversharing. They talk about their past too soon, their traumas, their feelings. They unload everything, hoping it builds closeness. But what it really builds is boredom. Women are drawn to what they can't fully understand. Mystery creates pull. It leaves space for imagination, for curiosity, for desire. You don't need to hide who you are. Just stop putting everything on the table too early. Let her wonder where your mind is. Let her question what you're thinking. Let her earn deeper layers over time. The man who keeps a calm, quiet edge, who doesn't speak every thought, who doesn't explain every move, is the one she keeps coming back to mentally, because she's not done figuring him out. When you're mysterious, you become a puzzle. Not a game, but a challenge. A story that unfolds slowly, not all at once. And that slow reveal keeps her invested. So don't post everything. Don't explain yourself constantly. Don't chase connection by giving away all your depth. Remain a man she can admire but not fully possess. That's the man she never stops thinking about. Truth number 8. Don't make her the prize. She's not the reward. She's the witness. You are the prize, and the moment you forget that, the dynamic crumbles. Most men place her on a pedestal. They chase, impress, and overgive. They lose themselves trying to earn her attention, instead of standing in their worth and letting her qualify to them. A woman doesn't want a servant. She wants a standard. Someone who doesn't bend just because she's beautiful or emotional or distant. When you treat her like the finish line, she'll treat you like an option. Because women are drawn to men who have a mission, not men who make her the mission. You want her? That's fine, but never want her more than you respect yourself. She should feel lucky to be chosen by you, not the other way around. That means you don't overextend. You don't break your frame to keep her. You don't shift your identity to match her moods. You stay rooted in purpose, in peace, in principle. And if she can't meet you there, you walk. The man who views himself as the prize never begs. He never convinces. He doesn't chase what doesn't reflect his value, and that alone makes him rare, and rarity is irresistible. So protect your throne, not with ego but with quiet certainty, because when you see yourself as the prize, she either rises to meet you or watches you walk away. Truth number 9. Let her go if she doesn't choose you. You shouldn't have to convince someone to stay. You shouldn't have to beg for clarity, attention, or respect. If she's unsure, let her go. Most men hold on too long. They wait for signs, overanalyze texts, tolerate breadcrumbs. They confuse patience with self-abandonment. But a woman who truly values you won't keep you guessing. She won't go silent just to see if you'll chase. She won't test your limits to see how much you'll take. The truth is simple. If she wants to be there, she will be. If she's unsure, inconsistent, or distant, you step back. Not as punishment, but as protection. Real masculinity is not about fighting for someone who's walking away. It's about having the strength to not follow. You don't need closure. You don't need one last conversation. You need peace. And peace begins when you stop negotiating your worth. Let her leave. Let her miss you. Let her feel the weight of a man who doesn't chase what chooses to walk away. Because when you hold on to what's already slipping, you lose the only thing that matters, yourself. And that's the one person you can't afford to abandon. Truth number 10. She follows the man who leads himself. You can't lead her if you can't lead yourself. Your habits, your emotions, your purpose, that's what sets the tone. Too many men think leading means control. It doesn't. It means direction. It means you know who you are, where you're going, and you won't compromise that for approval. Women don't follow words. They follow energy. They follow the man who moves with clarity, even when she doesn't agree. If you need her validation to act, you've already lost her respect. If you bend your mission to keep her close, you're no longer leading, you're orbiting. Be the man who wakes up with intention, who doesn't need a relationship to feel whole, who walks in purpose so clearly that she wants to align herself with it. And if she can't follow, you keep going. Because a woman doesn't want to carry the weight of the relationship. She wants to rest in the presence of a man who carries his own. So stop asking her what to do. Stop waiting for her to make the first move. Stop letting her moods dictate your mission. Lead with discipline. Lead with peace. Lead with purpose. because the man who leads himself never has to chase. These aren't just tips, they're truths, hard-earned, often ignored, but life-changing for the man who applies them. Because in a world where most men chase, explain, and fold, you become unforgettable by doing the opposite, by staying grounded, by knowing your worth, by walking like a man who doesn't need to be chosen because he's already chosen himself. And that is what makes her respect you, desire you, remember you, even in your silence. If this resonated with you, share it with another man who needs to hear it. This is Stoic Reflections, where men rise, not react. Subscribe and stay grounded.